welcome to Making Asteroids, where I've been playing a bit of X-Wing recently, and so thought we'd bosh some scenery together that don't have any myself, hence there's no ships flying in this, but I've been playing with some friends. So hopefully this will turn out well and I'll be dead happy with this. First up, the method. So this here is blue insulation foam, and I have this sculling about because I was using it in the past for a load of model making, and this is a much smaller piece of modelling foam that I've already been started cutting into shape. So the way I've been making the asteroids is taking a bit like this, just using my fingers, starting to rip away. Now this needs to be done to the entirety of the surface, and you can start pinching it and pulling it through. Where to get into the create divots like this, just get a bit of pipe, just shove it in. And you can see that the pitted surface of the asteroid, if you want to run the thing through, just keep pinching, taking it away. Now you can use tools for this, but to be honest with you, I've been finding my fingers are more effective. And when you get these irregular bits like that, that's great, because you don't want your asteroid to be a regular form, you want it to be a non-standard shape. And once you've done this for a while, you should end up with something like this. And so we've got a few different ones, and I'm not so fussed, there's little bits of weirdism, and you notice that this one has a flat bottom, so this will form the base and everything else will be hung off of this. And in order to form these into a single piece, I'm going to use a cocktail stick, and what I want is the cocktail stick to run at funny angles through these to make them look as much like they're floating as possible. Also, I don't want the cocktail stick to be visible, so having kind of already decided what I want to do, I kind of want this one like at a funny angle here, so if you see, I'm going to shove the cocktail stick straight through that at a very odd angle, with the aim that I can make this one also an odd angle. So I'm just going through the top, and then that. You can remake these holes, what have you, but one of the important things is that in the case of X-Wing, the base is this area, and you bump into it, or you pass straight through it, so it doesn't matter what's up above it, and hence these are being made in this way. You can see a little bit of cocktail stick, but it's mostly invisible, right? So the next step is to glue, but before I do that, here's just an alternative pose that I've done using smaller rocks and using two cocktail sticks. So there's a cocktail stick running through here and also down through here. And you can see little bits of it, but that won't matter because by the time it's painted, all of that will disappear. The main thing is you get all of these kind of strange floating rock formations, which, although I'm making this for X-Wing asteroids, it could equally be some kind of strange phenomena on a chaos map or a warp dimension or what have you, when you have sort of floating rocks sat about the battlefield as opposed to standard rocks because of strange laws of existence. Then also with this, I'm weighing it down just using a coin, and the way I'm putting the coin in is simply by putting it on the bottom, holding it in place, and carefully scoring around it with a sharp craft knife. So the main thing at this point is that I haven't scored too deep. So all I want to do now is just push the foam in, and I want this to be as snug a fit as possible, because what I want is after I've crushed the foam in, so literally I'm just compressing it, and this is blue insulation foam if you were wondering and I haven't already mentioned it. And then you should find you can put your coin in, and now I'm using a 2p coin. This is a UK coin because it's about an inch diameter. It's sort of copper, fits in snugly now, so it holds it up. And it just gives me a bit of ballast to hold the whole piece upright. So next up, I'm just going to glue and paint it black. When you're gluing, you can take it to pieces, put glue on and then reassemble it effectively, and that means that you get glue running through the whole piece and it holds it together snugly. Alternatively, you can just spot the gaps, but I prefer to take it to pieces and glue it. And just use PVA glue. If you use super glue, you will melt the foam. At this point, you could have done this before, but I'm not doing it. I'm just going to make a base, so I'm just drawing around, say, a base. I really mean a bottom. And I'm just roughly drawing around, and I'll cut inside this with a scalpel. You can see some have already been cut out for this bit of paper. And this is a sort of standard piece of drawing paper, so it's about 150 grams per metre square, which is about double your standard copy paper. So just use lightweight card like you get off a cereal packet or what have you if you don't have this kind of things going around. But I'm just going to glue this to the base, and what that will do is, one, it will act as a base to soften everything up and make it sit nicely on a surface, but also it will hold the coin in place so that the ballast can hold it upright and it will stay upright easy peasy rather than constantly trying to fall over. Here we go then. Here is the now glued and also based and also primed, undercoated Asteroids, and you can see the odd bit of colour showing through. But that's fine, because the next thing to do is to put a decent layer of I'm going to use heavy grey onto this, and just to cover up those beats, and then I'll put final highlight on and it'll be done. So I'll be back in a moment. Here's our first two highlights then. I just chucked down a layer of, I've been using the Vallejo range, but to be honest with you, that's because I need it to dry quickly, and I know that the Vallejo paint will dry very quickly, and that's why I'm using this instance. I would actually recommend you use cheaper paint, but like the paint I use to prime this, which is just sort of cheap black poster paint, or kids acrylic paint basically, it takes a long time to dry precisely because it's a cheap paint. It does the job perfectly well, and in the case of this kind of thing, I would recommend that. So like I kept my brush loaded with water whilst I was painting with black in order to get the black as deep into the foam as I could, and I still didn't get it entirely, but the final stage is next, and I'm just going to be using old Space Wolf Grey. I don't know if it's still Space Wolf Grey, but it's equivalent to the sort of it's a pale blue grey. So if you look at Vallejo blue grey and look for a pale blue grey, that will be a similar tone to this, but basically white tinted with a touch of blue and a touch of grey is about what you're looking at. And so here we have it. This is the asteroid field, all painted and ready to go. So if you're trying to make any scenery of any nature, I hope everything's going well for you and all your scenery is turning out exactly how you want it. Hope it's been some interest to you, and thank you for watching. Have a good one and take care. Bye bye.